Hey board gamers, BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, back in the Gumbo pot, this time with another unboxing. We're looking at Charcuterie, the board game from 3WS. We'll be demoing this for Envoy all through September. Look for us at the end of the September. We'll be at our local game store, Anubis, if you want to check that out. But let's get right to that Game Toppers LLC table and see what's in the side of the box. And I'll also give you a brief overview of how it plays. Looking at the front cover of Charcuterie, the board game, we're going to dive right in. I am wearing my Radney Foster t-shirt, and the reason for, not only is Radney coming to Louisiana if you're interested in checking it out, but also because Radney is known as a pretty good cook, a very good cook, and will come to your house, play music, and cook for you if you want to. So check that out at radneyfoster.com. Not a sponsor of Board Game Gumbo, but just throwing that out there. Charcuterie, the board game, it's designed by Whitney Lorraine and Josh Camden. I'm not doing a how-to play because we're just going to unbox this. We're going to go over kind of how the game is played. But if you want to, check out the Board Game Garden. Jenna Rose does a fantastic how-to play if you want to check that out. So shout out to Patrick and Cindy Newman also, who kind of tipped me off to this game. I wasn't that aware of it until I heard from it from Envoy, and I checked with Patrick, and they called this the perfect date night game. You know, just a kind of a filler game that they can play. So let's see. Charcuterie, the board game, a delectable game of appetizer arrangement. It plays from 2 to 6 players, and it says 20 to 30 minutes. So this looks like what the name father always calls a tapas game, something that you can break out at the start of the night. It's kind of an appetizer, or maybe at the end of the night, or you could have a whole game night with 3 or 4 of these little tapas type games where you're playing these quickly back to back. So we got a rule book here. And the game is relatively light and relatively simple. It's going to be an I split, you choose game, all about collecting sets of meats, cheeses, crackers, or breads, and fruits and vegetables. At let's say you're doing a little charcuterie night at your game night. We've got a nice visual representation of the components and all the different tiles, starting with just 3 types of meat tiles, all the way up to the more common fruits and vegetables with 5 types each. I like this, a representation of how the game is set up with numbers to tie that back in so you can follow it step-by-step order. How to play with the scoring. The scoring really comes from two ways. You've got, at the end of the game, you'll be scoring for the sets that you collect with the objectives that are public. And of course, everybody's going to have a secret recipe. So you'll be collecting sets to try to match up that secret recipe. So very common mechanisms, set collecting and splitting them out. But it's the I split you choose that's a little bit different than others I've seen. And also the way that we're going to place the tiles out. So we're going to take a look at that in just a second. There's a representation of the recipes, the grouping, and because this is important. Each player is going to get this player board, and we're going to be grouping tiles together. We're going to show tiles that are adjacent and tiles that are unique. But this is on a round board with no lines. So usually when we're playing tile placement games, we're actually fitting them into hexagons, or we're fitting them into diagrams of squares. So that's what caught my eye. Not only the interesting theme about building a charcuterie board, but also the fact that there are no lines in this game. So, all right. So this is what we're going to be doing, by the way, for our Envoy Heralds. We're going to be doing showcases. Our splashes are going to be looking at the base objectives, because the designers of this game made this game to be scalable from just people just brand new to gaming all the way to gamers that have been in the hobby for years. So we've even got some variants to make it a little crunchier for 2 to 6 players, and then all about the play testing. They also have a visual representation of all the different tiles, just in case you're worried about whether blue cheese fits under cheese or not. I guess that could be a problem. All right, these are the player boards, and it comes with 6. And they definitely, on that screen as I'm watching this, it looks like a real hardwood charcuterie board. So kudos to them for that. That is very impressive. With even a little, edging. I forgot what they call that when they burn the letters into it. So Charcuterie, the board game. You notice there is a ring, and that ring serves a purpose. In 6-player games, we're going to limit our charcuterie to inside that ring. Well, for the other games, we'll go more. And then these are the objective tiles, or at least the place for the objective tiles. So this will go into the middle of the playing area. And then each game, we're going to pull those 6. We'll take a look at that. All right, now we get to the meat of the game. We got the tiles, and we're always looking for here on the Gumbo, we're looking for tiles that are going to pop out nice and easy. And as you can see, these are super easy to pop. They really do look like representation of what they are. I mean, who doesn't recognize that as strawberries? That's definitely strawberries. We've got some crackers. We've got all kinds of different berries and fruits and olives. Yep, everything pops up nice and neat. So I'm going to actually finish these out off screen, but I want to make sure these are nicely cut. These will be and as you can see, they're kind of different sizes. They have squares, they have circles, they have things that look like fruit and cheese. And also we've got some added components. When we do the score sheet at the end of the game, each player will pick one of these colors. So from green to white, to blue, but basically they represent the 6 different things you can put on the boards. And also the back side of it is going to be a 50 marker, and the back side of these are going to be 100 markers. So nice and easy. And wow, they really pop out. I mean, I'm barely pressing them and they pop right out. So kudos to 3WS for a very nice production so far. I mean, this looks really good. So, and we've got the different types of meat, including something I never heard of. And I'm going to put it in the comments if I'm a dummy, but I never heard of a meat rose. But here we are. We've got meat rose. I thought Jenna Rose was just making a pun, but it's not. It's an actual meat that looks like a rose. Interesting. I've never seen that in South Louisiana. Now, you throw some Boudin in there, and yes, we'd be doing that. All right, so we've got some cards. I don't see the little easy way to open them. You know, I prefer that, but I'll just my fingernail here. All right. I like it when they had that little strip, and I know it's an extra cost, but come on, board game publishers, let's get that done. All right, so we've got the gourmet objectives, and we've got the base objectives. Now, for purposes of the splash in September, we're going to be using the base objectives. These are kind of the starting objectives, and there's one for each of the different types. So, for instance, for the breads, you've got for each pair of 1x square breads and 1x circle breads, you'll get 2 points, okay? For cheese, it's for each unique cheese in a group of cheese. And there's 6 different ones, and you'll place them on the board like this, wherever the meat is. Yep. The cheese goes here, meat goes there, broccoli for the vegetables, and then the fruits. Okay, but, you know, for your next game, you've got these here, extra breads, extra cheese, extra dippings. Yeah, that's right, dippings, fruits, meats, and then the vegetables. So you'll mix those up by category. And so every game is going to be different. I mean, with 6 times 3 is 18. I don't know the math, but that's a lot of different combinations. So we also have those private objectives I told you about. And they're called recipes in this game, which makes sense, right? Thematic sense. But on the backs of them, each player will get 2 of these private recipes. And they'll pick one, but they'll keep it hidden. So everybody knows what everybody's going for in this game, especially with the base objectives, but they don't know exactly what people are going for with their private recipes. For instance, this is Delicious Diversity. Select a diverse assortment of unique food tiles. And if you can get to 15, that's 15 points, which to me sounds like a lot for this game. So dips for days for each group of 3 of the same dip, that's 10 points. I'm lucky enough in the Gumbo, I think Logan already has this game. So we're going to get this game played even before the splash comes. In fact, stay tuned to twitch.tv/BoardGameGumbo. You just never know. This might be coming up on Tuesday where we play your games live on Twitch. So check that out. They do come with a player bag for a tile bag for all these different tiles. And I love this. So, you know, I grew up, my dad's dad was a farmer. So we saw a lot of burlap sacks and rice sacks and crawfish sacks. And this just looks like something that you'd find at an old general store. We'd go to Woodville, Mississippi to hunt, and there's a store right on the other side of St. Francisville. This old general store. We called it the pawn store because it was right next to a pawn, and they had this kind of stuff. That, just old style things. Some of the stuff wasn't even for sale. It was just the owner had collected over the years. So, all right. Last but not least, we have the Charcuterie board game scoring tile, and I like this. Oh, this is so smart. So on the back of it, you don't even have to dive in the rule book. You want to know how many stacks you have to put? You just look at the back. So let's say that Snow Bunny and I are playing two-player game. We know that we're going to pull out of the bag. We're going to pull enough tiles for 4 stacks to have 3 tiles. So let's say that's 12 tiles. I'm just going to, for example, I'll just do 9. And they're going to be kind of mixed up on this board here. And then whoever's the host, the leader for that round, right? The leader for that round is going to do the old I split, you choose. If I'm the leader, I'm going to split up these tiles into 4 stacks, each with 3. But I'm trying to remember that my, the other player, Snow Bunny in this case, is going to be first to pick. And I'm going to get that last pick. I guess with 2 players, I'll actually get 2 selections. But importantly, I want to try to make it as fair as possible, or at least I want to make it enticing to Snow Bunny to pick the tile stacks that I don't want, so that she leaves me the tile stacks I do like. So I like the I split you choose mechanic. It's done well in some games, not so well in some games. I like that modified one where in Castles of Mad King Ludwig, you actually kind of rotate the price of it. And so that's like one more level where we've got the different tiles, but I'm trying to set the price. That's probably my favorite way that it does it. I know it's more of a bidding or auction, but it's not really. It really is kind of a I split, you choose, but it's a combination of the tiles and the money. But what intrigues me about this one is that with so many different tiles and so many different stacks and a quick pace of play, I think this is going to be a perfect way to utilize the I split, you choose mechanic. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm always curious about what the insert is going to be. I think this is kind of your typical insert for shipping. It's just keeping everything level. I'm still going to keep it. It'll be fine. There's nothing underneath. And that's the back of the box that has, this is just classic. It's got the representation. It tells you what the game is. Host, choose, score. I mean, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it back of the box. So that is Charcuterie, the board game. Can't wait to get this played. All right, so that's Charcuterie, the board game from 3WS Games. Envoy Heralds will be showcasing this game at the end of September, so come by your friendly local game store to take a look. In fact, I'll be at Anubis Game Hobby the last weekend of September if you want to try the game out. Until next time, laissez le bon temps rouler.